Hi, this is Ushio and welcome back to Angels with Scaly Wings. This is the final part of the post-true mod. We have done Adine, Bryce, Anna, and now it is Remy's turn. Sorry Lorem, you don't get one. So all of the endings have the same structure. They're kind of bookended by the same beginning and the same ending. But it's nice seeing the differences because that's kind of the point. You have it in the same situation it is on the loop, but the only difference between it is the characters that you choose to interact with. So it's kind of like it is in keeping this mod with how the game actually functions. So we're gonna check out Remy's ending. What is this? Is this the third day or the fourth? I kind of lost track, but we're gonna skip ahead. Skip ahead, skip ahead, skip ahead. Okay, go for that kiss. And now we should move in for that true ending. So here we go. Chapter 5. Everybody goes. If you just choose Remy, it doesn't happen. You just get the regular endings. So you need the true ending because this is post-true mod. So there's the logic to it. And here we are. Remy's ending. The last few hours felt like a dream, or a memory of a dream I had many times before. Izumi was dead, Reza was captured, and both worlds were safe, for now. No doubt it would all make sense in the morning, but now I just wanted to get home and get some rest. Remy and I walked back into town from the portal together. What are you going to do now? Dunno, it seems like I got everything right this time, so I won't have to do it all over again. If I have to, I will, but a part of me just wants to continue on and see what happens. What do you mean this time? Do you remember what happened in different timelines? Not very well, but well enough that this feels like that everything's in place. I don't know if it's just me, but it feels better somehow. It feels right. That's good. So, how are you and Emily doing? She finally started talking. It took a few days, but once she started, she didn't stop. I think she'd been silent for so long, all her thoughts were bubbling up inside her, and they finally burst out. It's funny. Sometimes she narrates what I'm doing. Remy's opening the cupboard, he's looking inside, and he's getting plates out. In an odd way, her voice reminds me of... Remy trailed off and looked away. The only sound was our footsteps, the even and steady patter of his paws against the gravel. It sounded like someone tapping against a desk while they're waiting for something. When Remy looked back, his voice was steady, but his eyes were bright and glassy. That's not good. Okay, when you go back in time, how far back can you go? Only as far back as when the portal was built, and I would need to know the space-time coordinates of the location. What do you mean coordinates? Does the portal move? Sort of, in space-time. The Earth itself is moving, so if you went back or forward in time to this location, you'd end up floating in space. Okay, I see. Is there any way of finding out the coordinates of a given date? Probably. It's how they sent me back here in the first place, but I don't know how. The first time, the coordinates were loaded into the portal's computer before I arrived, and every time after that, Izumi loaded it. The dragon nodded. He looked like he was deep in thought. His front claw wandered to his tie and gently touched it. You can't use it to go back in time if you're wondering. You just have to deal with the present for now. Yeah, we'll be tactful. He's thinking about his ex-partner who passed away. If you can go back as many times as you want, what's the value in the present moment? Why bother doing anything if you can just go back and redo it? I suppose it's true, in a way. That was a kind of a cold-hearted way to explain it, though. It's what I've learned. I don't know how many times I've met you for the first time. After a while, the experience is diminished. I know what you're thinking, but it's not worth it. You've never done anything you regret. Something you want to go back and try again? Sure, but I don't want to risk it unless I have to. You've gone back how many dozens and hundreds of times? When I did it, it's worth the risk. Worth the risk to who? To humanity and to dragonkind, not just one person. Do you know how many times I've thought about saving her? I dreamed about being able to go back. I dreamed about how I could save her had I just been by her side instead of abandoning her when she needed me most. Do you have any idea how many sleepless nights I've spent looking at that picture of her, just weeping and wishing I could go into the picture? One time I broke the glass frame and cut myself because I was holding it so hard. Eventually I had enough. I thought if I couldn't be with her in this life, I could in another. A week ago, I bought a rope. I tied it in a noose and hung it from the ceiling. I only stopped because Adine phoned you and asked you if you wanted to adopt Vara. What? Did she tell you? No, I told her you were looking to adopt. I know she called you because in another timeline I didn't tell you that about Adine's work in the orphanage, and in that timeline You had killed yourself. I was going to take a PDA to you at work. You weren't there, so I went to your house to drop it off, and I saw you hanging from the ceiling. I must have remembered that timeline, because in this one, there was a voice telling me to tell you about the adoption in the back of my mind, and now I know why. You can't change the past, Remy. I wish I could help you bring her back, but you can't. If we went back that far, it would completely destabilise this timeline and all the works I've done here. All the hundreds of deaths I've died would be for nothing. I'm sorry, but she's gone, and you're never going to get her back. I could at least try. In one timeline, Vara died. She snuck out and followed us to the portal and was shot by Reza. I don't even know what I did to prevent it this time. If we went back to save your fiancée, you might not have even been there to greet me when I came out of the portal. Then I'd never have met you, and I never would have had a reason to help you go back and save her. Major changes like that can cause paradoxes that we don't even understand. I suppose you're right, of course. She must have really been something for you to care so much. She really was. I can't describe her in words. Even trying would be an injustice to her. I could quote a song or recite a poem, but it wouldn't describe what I felt when I saw her. But I don't want to bore you with that. It's okay. Get it off your chest. I like listening to you. It's good to get it off your chest. Clearly this is something you've been holding inside of you for a long time. It's not healthy to keep it inside. I know, I've always known it, but it's not like anyone cares or listens. I care. You can tell me. Ever since I lost her, I've always wanted to escape, to just stop being who I was. The only time I wasn't depressed was when I was asleep. And when I went to bed, I looked forward to getting away from the world, even if it was just for 8 hours at a time. I dreaded waking up, and that is a healthy sleep pattern, I will tell you that much. Other times I immersed myself in novels. Some of the best ones are the ones I left at your apartment. Being able to lose myself in a book was the closest thing I had to being somebody else. Then I found video games. The one you played in my office, I liked it because I could lose myself in that world. Because there, I wasn't Remy the librarian. I was a hero. The characters liked me, but as soon as I turned it off, I saw my own reflection looking back at me, and I remembered it was nothing more than a fantasy. I'm sorry. I didn't realise it was that important to you. Don't be sorry. It shouldn't have been that important. It's just a stupid video game. But when I played it, I could actually make accomplishments, even if they were as insipid and useless as watching a number increase on a screen. It felt like I'd achieved something, even if I knew it's as artificial as the in-game sprites, and the harder it was, the more accomplished I felt. That's why I was so angry when you ruined my progress. I felt I'd lost hundreds of hours of my life, and realising that made me realise what a useless waste of time it was. If it entertains you, it's not wasted time. But it didn't even entertain me. It was just endless grinding, simple combos and memorising where to click on the screen. I just played it to lose myself and to pretend I was accomplishing something, even though I knew it was artificial, even though I knew it was just a story. You need a good save system on your game, pal. Sometimes stories can have truth in them, even if they're just a metaphor. They can be more true than the reality that we live in. I guess it's true. I haven't touched it since adopting Emily. I guess I didn't need to. You helped me more than you might think. You gave me hope after I thought I would never have it again. Just doing my job. Goes beyond that though, doesn't it? You came here to represent your species, not give individuals life advice. I came here to help people. That's what I'm doing. I appreciate that, although it doesn't really matter anymore, does it? What do you mean? Remy stopped and looked up at the night sky. Somewhere among the thousands of bright points was the comet that would kill every dragon on Earth unless we did something to prevent it. It's really going to hit, isn't it? Yes, and it will... No, don't tell me. I don't even want to know what's going to happen. You'll get through the portal. You say that as if you know for sure. I'm humanity's ambassador. I can bring whoever I want. I'll try to bring as many people through as I can, but I'll make sure that you come with me first. Why'd you choose me? I want to start a band and call it Remy and Me? Because you're a lot more valuable than you realise, because I like you. You're a lot more valuable than you realise. It's true. Emma chose you because you're smart and useful. Even if she doesn't respect you, she still sees your value. I see it too, but I respect you as well. And you're good at working with people. I've never been good with people. I think you are. You've just forgotten. You managed to convince someone to marry you once. And you're already a good father, even though you've only been doing it for a few days. I think you have the potential to be a great person. If you could work with anybody else, who would it be? we're gonna go with Remy, as always. He's creating a story based on humans. I thought if we worked together, he could make it all the more accurate and interesting. But none of those people would be as good as you. I hadn't realised it, but we'd arrived at my doorstep. I wondered if I should invite him in. I wanted to, but so far he hadn't given me any indication he felt the same way. Luckily, he broke the tension. Well, I guess I'll head home now. Okay, bye, wow. Do you want to come in? Of course I do. So that was quite a deep and a little bit of a downer, some of those discussions, some deep depression and a little bit of suicide references, because I never actually did do it on my gameplay, but yeah, he can actually kill himself if you give him bad answers. But here we go, final stretch. After being told of the comet and realising that any of their attempts to stop or redirect it would fail without the lab's generator, the Dragon's Council agreed with my course of action, as did humanity. While the repopulation of our city turned out very differently than humanity had initially hoped, all concerns were naught against the possibility of the vast amounts of technology and generators the dragons would bring to revive it. Soon the initiative to relocate the dragons through the portal was in full force, and I, still acting as the ambassador, helped as much as I could to make it go as smoothly as possible. After a few weeks, we had done it, and as the last of the dragons from even the furthest regions had arrived at the other side, the time for me had come to walk through the portal for the very last time. I looked back to their village and saw all of the abandoned buildings doomed to be destroyed when the comet would soon hit. As I walked up to the platform and waited for the portal to do its starting routine, I thought about what would happen now and what would come of this collaboration between humans and dragons. I was sure that there was a lot of work to be done, especially if I considered the state of the rest of the world, but maybe our city could be the bastion of Earth. Not as the last one remaining, but rather as the first of its kind, and from it, maybe we'd be able to grow and spread our influence. Maybe, together, we can rebuild. And that is it. That is Remy's ending on the post-true mod. And that is all of the endings of the post-true mod. It's actually quite good. Poor Remy didn't get a look in, so I tried to include them as much as I could. But yeah, this was a fun mod, and I hope you enjoyed these little shorter videos. This is Usho signing off, and hopefully I'll see you next time.